Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'll be doing a bit of a different video. I'll be doing a little list of 10 players that I think will have a breakout 2023 season. Now I know a few YouTubers have probably already done this video before, but I decided it might be a good video, especially seeming I have different opinions um, um, compared to other people who have probably already done this review, or it's not review, sorry, this video. But yeah, I've created 10 players that people wouldn't normally say would be standout players or breakout players. So I've tried to make it quite different to what other people would do, in my opinion. So yeah, we'll get started straight away with my first pick, which is the most bizarre one of them all. And yeah, this player plays for Melbourne. He's played defence, midfield, forward. I believe he spent a little bit of time tagging last year. That obviously wasn't a long time, but just a little bit of time, tagging. He rarely got a game last season. I doubt the D's are going to pick him straight away, but I think he will, be forced to break in after a dominant VFL first few weeks or months. And I think he will be in there for the rest of the season once he comes in. And yeah, I don't know. He's been off since like 2019, 2020 when he was quite good. But since the days of rise and become a pretty good side, he hasn't really risen, and he's therefore been left out of the side. A lot more younger midfielders taking over his wing spot, which is where he normally plays, and that's James Harms. And Brayshaw, of course, he had a breakout season last year, and he was a big part of why he didn't really get a game as well. But yeah, I personally think James Harms will have a breakout 2023 season when he's in the side. I think he'll be good. I don't know if anyone's done this. I don't think anyone's stupid enough to tip James Harms to be a breakout player. But I personally think he's got the skill to become a really, really good player, and I think he will be playing on the wing and maybe get a tagging role like last year too. But yeah, that's just the player I've gone with first up as my most bizarre. My second one is also a Melbourne player. I have heard the AFL say this, which is quite unfortunate because I actually thought of this before them, and that's Cozzy Pickett from Melbourne. I think he will have a very, very good season because, well, I'll just say what the AFL have come out and say. They've said that he's going to get more midfield time, which I already knew. He's going to, go in there from the stoppages, get some more run on the ball, probably pushing Petrarca forward for stoppages, which means Petrarca might not have such as a good year as he's been having in recent years. But it will also mean that Cozzy Pickett will have a good year, and they want as much as they can get out of those two playing as forwards and mids. But yeah, Cozzy Pickett will be a good player, I reckon, this season, and yeah, watch out for him in the stoppages. My third player I've gone with is one that you can technically say has already shown he's capable of doing this, but hasn't really been able to do it because they have such a stacked midfield. But now the side's going for a rebuild, and when they've gone and traded all their good midfielders, I think you already know who I'm talking about now, and that's GWS. I personally think this guy has to have a breakout season if GWS won't come bottom. I still don't think he'll be good enough. Yeah, he's got to work with Canelio, I reckon. They've got to have a few other midfielders stepping up. It can't just be the young kids. Callum Ward's too old now, he won't be able to do much. So this kid has really got to step up. He's been around the competition for a few years. He showed signs last year, but it was quite inconsistent. He's got to be more consistent this season, and that's Tom Green. I think he will have a big season. I reckon he'll probably be runner-up in the BNF to Sam Taylor or Canelio or someone like that. But I think he will have a really, really good season. And yeah, really, really showed why he belongs in that Giants midfield. Now that they've lost Hopper and Taranto, even Bobby Hill, and Tanner Bruin, he's really got that midfield role just to himself with Stephen Canelio. So I personally think he's going to have a big season. And yeah, I guess that's it for Tom Green. My fourth one. Now this one, you could say is quite interesting. Because he's been good at the start of his career, but as he's gotten older, he's been worse. And 2021 he was full of injuries. In 2022, just struggled to get a game. Really, just couldn't get in their best squad, and this squad was not doing too good at the time as well, which is quite unfortunate for him. But yeah, that's Xavier Dersma. Now, I'm not going to go someone bizarre like Ugle Hagen. That's not bizarre. That's really, really easy. Like, I've seen heaps of people do Ugle Hagen or Jack Henry, even from Geelong, to really, really step up in defence. Or someone even doing Tanner Bruin from Geelong, or some other guys. But anyway, I've gone with Xavier Dersma. I personally think he will have a good season for Port, and I reckon Port are going to be pretty bad this season. So that's actually a huge call from me to say that Xavier Dersma will have a good season. I think it'll be great. I think he has had a better season probably than what he's going to do. Maybe in 2020, he was really good then. But I think he's going to be a massive, massive part of Port's side this season. So yeah, that's my fourth player. This isn't in order, by the way, just in case if you thought this was in order. It isn't in order. Number 5. This is a big one because I definitely have heard news that he might be a little bit injured at the moment. Playing for a side that traded all their midfielders as well, just like GWS. And yeah, basically they have no experience, and this kid's only, second season. I do want to say there's no first season players in here, but there will be some second season players, or maybe players that haven't got a game that are in their second season. I'll give you a clue. One of them is coming up next, but yeah, this player struggled at the start of his season last year, and then found himself on the side in the middle half of the year, the middle part of the year, and he was quite good, but wasn't amazing. And then at the back half of the year, he was just amazing. And I personally think he will carry that back half of the year into this season. And that's Joshua Ward from Hawthorn. I think he'll be very, very good, and he's really got to be, really, when you think about it. I just think he's going to have a massive season. Number 6. This player has never played for this side before. He was a very, very high draft pick last year, but got injured before his season even started, and ruled him out for the whole entire 2022 and put him on the interactive list. And that's Campbell Chesser from West Coast. I personally think he's going to be amazing. I reckon he'll be a big part of West Coast squad, and yeah, I can see him really, really delivering. I reckon he'll get a game like every single week, and they can't just rely on these older guys that are starting to get a bit battered and sore, like Shannon Hearn and Elliot Yeo down there. So they need to have a good young defender down there. In my opinion, Campbell Chess is probably the best one they'll have. And yeah, he'll have a very, very good season. And I reckon he'll be up there for possibly pulling in the Rising Star. So yeah. Now, I guess this one's a pretty stupid one, because you could argue with me that he's already been amazing, but when you look around him, he's got to be amazing this season, like really, really, really amazing, because all of a sudden this midfield that was stacked isn't so stacked anymore, and with one of them being a mid-forward helping out the other mid-forward who's getting quite older, meaning that they need to put maybe like someone like a Bailey Smith. I can't get to give it away now. I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, a Bailey Smith in that position, which means Trelaw, and even I don't know who else they really have. I mean, Trelaw's got to step up in that midfield now, but this player in particular has to step up in there, and that's Jack McRae. I think he will have the best season he's ever had. I reckon he'll be All-Australian, BNF winner, and up there for the Brownlow even. Speaking of Brownlow, coming in at 8th position, I know this player's already amazing. He's at the peak of his game. But I think he's going to go one step better and win the Brownlow this season, and that's Clayton Oliver from Melbourne. I think he's going to be amazing. Now, you can argue with me that him and McRae have already been amazing, but I think they're going to have a breakout season, basically. And he's going to be amazing, Clayton Oliver. Can't wait to watch him in action for the days. He's going to be really, really good in there. And yeah, I don't think Ozzy Pickett's move to the midfield will affect him. So yeah, it'll be amazing, I reckon. Huge. Number 9 is, well, I guess I kind of was struggling to think of a few unique players that could have a breakout season, so I've decided to go with this player, seeming he was okay last season, I guess, but didn't quite stay in the side, and I don't know if he will get a game this season. And that's Hugo Paul-Oyer. I think he's an amazing kid. I honestly think that if he doesn't get a game, then there's something wrong, because he's great talent. You know, he's got to compete with the likes of Davies and Roses and Joel Jeffrey. Like, there's heaps of other good young Gold Coast Suns forwards playing, but I personally think they got to put him in there. But I just don't know if he'll get a game or not. That's my only worry for him. So, yeah, that one might not be the best. But, yeah, this is my final one now, number 10. Just saying, this is not the player that I think will be the worst out of the bunch. Definitely not. This is just the order I've said the players, really. But, yeah, I think this guy will certainly have a good season. He's got to help out his fellow big forward, because last year this team was just bombing it to him, really. No, it's not St Kilda. St Kilda are obviously the biggest bombing side, and they don't have Max King this season. Don't know what they're going to do. But yeah, I personally think this guy can work really, really well with the other big forward that they have, and maybe even kick as much goals as him. That might be a bit of a stretch, but he'll definitely pinch a few from him, I reckon. I don't know if he'll be the full forward or the centre half forward, but he'll definitely be up there, and that's Sam Wiedemann. He's going to get a game at Essendon, surely. How could you not play him? He's got to work well with Peter Wright. They need another big forward. They've lost Cale Hooker. They can't really play Harrison Jones as that big forward, you know. He's not quite tall enough. But Sam Wiedemann's the perfect option, in my opinion, and I think he'll have a great season working with Peter Wright. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed my top 10 players to have a breakout 2023 season. And, yeah, stay tuned for some more AFL content coming out on the channel soon.